Hello friends, welcome to Treasure channel. In this video, we will talk about Trident Limited. Like you know, I will talk about these 4 points. First we will talk about history, then business model, then management, and last we will discuss about some financials. So first, let's start with the history. The company was started in 1990s by the name of Abhishek Industries. The name of the promoter was Rajendra Gupta and he is still the promoter of the group. Basically, it was manufacturing cotton yarn and selling it to different other companies. After 2 years, in 1992, the company set up its manufacturing unit in Punjab by equity financing. After 1992, the company thought that they cannot charge premium if they sell only yarn. So they entered in 1998 on terry towel manufacturing. Previously named Abhishek Spin Fan Corporation Limited was already in the terry cotton business. So the company amalgamated that in 1999 so that the whole business works under one umbrella. In 2002, Indian government gave the approval for the production of PT cotton. Before 2002, there was a wide fluctuation in the price of cotton because of the pests that corrupts the cotton crop. But after 2002, the price remained stagnant. In 2002, again, a company named Varindra Agrochemical Limited was amalgamated to the Trident Group, which was in the business of manufacturing paper and also chemicals. In 2005, World Trade Organization dismantled the import quota, which has impacted the whole textile industry of the country. Because previously, there was a restriction of how much a country can import. But after 2005, that import quota is removed. Now, any number of amount of textile can be imported from India. So it was highly beneficial for the textile market, textile players of India. So the company started expanding further. The company entered into bed lining segment in 2008-9 so that it can move further towards more exporting nature. In 2007, the promoter Rajendra Gupta got Padma Shri award for his excellence in commerce. Company soon realized that if a company sold a paper product by naming it paper, then it cannot charge a premium. So the company went on further and made some product name like Spectre, My Choice, so that it can charge premium from the customer. But after 2012, it amalgamated various other divisions that are working under or apart from the group so that it can run efficiently under one umbrella. So you can clearly see that in 2012, the company amalgamated Trident Infotech, Trident Agrotech, acquired Trident Global Corporation. In 2015, the company merged with Trident Limited so that it can run effectively. If I talk about the whole business in one line, I will say that in 1990s, the company started by the name of Abhishek Industries. It was particularly selling cotton yarn. It set up its first manufacturing unit in Punjab by equity financing and entered terry towel business in 1998. BT Cotton got approval in 2002. The same year, the company amalgamated Varindra Agrochemical Limited, from where the company got paper and chemical business. And again, after 2 years or 3 years, WTO dismantled the import quota, which highly impacted the whole textile industry. Then company launched different branded products. But after 2012, the company amalgamated various other divisions so that it can run under one umbrella effectively. This is all about the company's history. Now we will talk about the business model. Like every business, this business also has raw material and product. Particularly, we are talking about the product from the revenue perspective. Out of the whole revenue, 15% of the revenue comes from paper and chemical, particularly paper. The raw material basically for paper is agricultural waste. We know that agricultural waste are in huge quantity in India and the company is not going to have any shortage of that in near future. So we can clearly say that yes, raw material is available in India and for the company also. One point to here mention is that the price and the quality of the paper. The quality of the bamboo pulp paper is quite higher as compared to the agricultural waste paper. The company is not going to have any raw material shortage, though there might be chances that the company may have to pay the high price because nowhere it is written that the price of agricultural raw material is less or higher than wood pulp or bamboo pulp. Nowhere it is written. I have read few articles, somewhere it is written that the cost of agricultural product is higher and somewhere it is written that the cost of bamboo product is higher. So I cannot differentiate which article which I need to follow. So overall, we can say that the 15% of the revenue that company is making from these paper segment is quite effective and company is charging quite high margin. The company is selling the product, now the raw material is over, the company makes the product, now it is selling to different online platform. you can clearly see the paper in different shops around your house. So it is quite a simple business. Agricultural wastes are collected and converted into paper and sold through various channels like online, offline, other methods. And also the brand name is included so that it can be differentiated. Now we will talk about the major portion of the revenue segment, which is home textile, particularly terry towel. The company has also entered in bed lining, but though the revenue contribution of bed lining is not quite efficient, so we are not going to discuss that. Now talking about yarn. Yarn contributes about 25% of the revenue. These are the 4 types of cotton, out of which last 2, Egyptian and American, are particularly outside of Asian variant. These 2 are Asian variants and are grown in Asia. Quantity of production is quite high of these 2, but the quality of Egyptian brand is quite high as compared to both 2. So India produces all the 4, but the quality of Egyptian is quite high, but the quantity of Egyptian is not enough to cater the market demand for India. So the major production of these 2 are happening in India, which are mostly converted to yarn. So the company sold the yarn made from cotton 1 and 2 here, Arboretum and Herbaceum. These 2 cottons are converted into yarn, and some of the yarn is used by the company itself. The company sold the other part, which are not going to be used for the company, and the company also purchased yarn, cotton also and yarn also from the other countries. Particularly the type of cotton company purchases is of Egyptian brand, so that it can provide the good quality of product to its customer. This is all about the type of raw material that I am talking about. Now I will talk about home textile. First, the cotton is produced and then it is converted to yarn in the company. The company's revenue comes from this whole segment. The company converts the cotton into yarn and also sold some of the yarn. The 25% of the revenue of the company comes from yarn selling. After converting cotton into yarn, the company converts it into fabrics in sheet form, and then to dyeing and processing and printing, means coloring, and then cutting and making different shapes, and then quality assurance, means labeling the name and branding it like advertising somewhere. Overall, we can clearly say that if a company is surrounding here, means in manufacturing and converting from cotton to yarn or fabric, the capex need to be high. But if the company is in this section, means saving, quality assurance and branding, the capex is low. One thing that quite confused me is that 25% of the revenue of the company comes from yarn, and company is still expanding this yarn facility, though the premium of yarn is not so high, because it is just like a commodity product. You can't charge premium on yarn. So we can clearly see that the net fixed asset turnover of the company is quite low. This is all about the company's business model. If you want to learn more about this business model of spinning or textile, I suggest you to kindly watch the video that I have made on IndoCount, where I have analyzed the whole business more efficiently. Now we will talk about how efficient the company is managing. First, we will talk about the operating profit margin. We can clearly see that the operating profit margin of the company is healthy, 18 to 19%, which is quite a healthy number. From the textile business perspective, we will talk about the gross profit margin. The gross profit margin of the company has increased. Though the gross profit margin has increased, but the operating profit margin has decreased. Overall, we can say that the margin of the company is quite high. Now talking about the net fixed asset turnover ratio, which is very low. If you compare it with other companies of the textile industry, you can clearly see the same thing. If any company is focusing on a spinning section, means converting cotton to yarn, you can clearly see that the capex is going to be high and resulting in the net fixed asset turnover low. If you compare it with IndoCount, you can clearly see that IndoCount has quite high net fixed asset turnover ratio, because IndoCount is focusing more on the product side segment of the company. Now we will talk about the working capital turnover ratio, which is quite low, even negative for some years. We can understand more effectively the working capital turnover ratio of the company if we analyze it with inventory, receivable and payables perspective. We can clearly say that company's inventory days has increased over the last 10 years from 115 days to 186 days, 84 days. Talking about the receivable days, which has also increased from 26 to 36, and payable days is at a constant level, has not varied significantly. So we can clearly say that payable is at a certain level, though the inventory and receivable has increased. So we can clearly say that though the payable has not increased and inventory and receivable has increased, still the working capital turnover ratio of the company is negative, means there is somewhere company current liabilities is increasing. If you check the annual report, you can clearly see that company's short-term borrowing is quite high over the year. It varies over the year, but the current borrowing of the company is quite high, due to which the working capital turnover ratio of the company is negative. Overall, we can say that from the efficiency perspective, the company is quite efficient but not highly efficient. Though the operating profit margin is high, net profit margin is high, but the net fixed asset turnover ratio is not quite high. Working capital is negative because the net borrowing, the short-term borrowing is quite high. Inventory days has increased significantly though. Now we will talk about management. In the management section, I will first talk about the shareholding pattern of the company. If you check the shareholding pattern of the company, you can clearly see that it is more than 50% and it has increased over the last 10 years. We can say from this that the management has faith in the company, which is good from my perspective. If a company is holding more than 50% of the share, then I will consider it a good company because I feel that management has faith. And if the shareholding pattern is increasing, means I will also consider that management is increasing more faith. I will consider a company good if the remuneration is less than 5%. But I am not saying that if a company is paying more than 5%, then it is a bad company. You have to further analyze that for better understanding. Now we will talk about the succession plan. Rajendra Gupta is the promoter of the company right now, and his son Abhishek Gupta is going to be the promoter because he is the son of Rajendra Gupta, and there is a smooth succession plan. There is no conflict going on with anyone else. About talking about cases or scam, I haven't found any cases or scam against the management or even about the company. So I suggest you to kindly post if you found some in the comment section so that I can also learn from you. Now we will talk about the related party transaction. Three things that first, royalty. The company is paying royalty. Second one, the company's CSR is spent through its own institute, which quite bother me. Third, the company is used as a guarantor for taking the loan by the management, which is not good from my perspective. These are the 3 points which I need further analysis. So I suggest you to kindly further analyze these things so that you can understand it better. Now we will talk about the financials. In the financial section, I will first talk about whether the company is going to be bankrupt in 5 to 6 years from two perspectives, debt or competition. From debt's perspective, we can clearly see that debt to equity of the company has decreased significantly. So we can clearly see that from the debt perspective, the company is not going to be bankrupt. From the competitor's perspective, the company has effectively managed its margin to 6 to 7% level, which is quite a high number. So we can clearly say that from margins perspective and from debt decreasing perspective, we can clearly say that in next 5 to 6 years, the company is not going to bankrupt. Now talking about the return on equity, which is around 8 to 10%. The return to equity of the company is hovering around 8 to 10% over the last 8 years. I will consider a company good if the return to equity is more than 15%, around 15%, and if the company's return on equity is greater than 20%, then I consider the company very good. Though I need to further analyze why the return on equity has increased so much or decreased so much, because there are times when equity is changed and which might result in return on equity stagnant or increased. So you have to understand first that return on equity is not about just checking the number. You have to further analyze that whether equity is increased or decreased. So talking about return on equity, I will say that the company is managing 8 to 10% from the textiles business perspective. Yeah, it's good number because return on equity depends upon which industry we are analyzing. Talking about return on capital employed, it is about 9 to 11%, quite of the same level in which return on equity is. So we can say that overall 10% is the number of return on equity and return on capital employed also. And now we will talk about the debt to equity, which has decreased significantly over the years from 3 to 0.47. For further analyzing this, whether it's happened because of the debt or equity, for that we have to analyze both debt and equity. We can clearly see that borrowing of the company has decreased from 2200 crore to 1500 crore over the 10 years. Though it has increased in 16 to 17, but overall in 2021 it has decreased. Means we can clearly say that the company's debt borrowing has decreased. So, and due to this reason, the company's debt to equity has decreased. And also the company's equity, which has also increased, equity, capital and reserve, which was 305 and has increased to 500, which is also the main reason equity has increased and debt has decreased, which are both the reason for the decreasing debt to equity. So you have to further analyze why this thing is happening, because if you cannot analyze and just stick to the number, then you cannot understand what the background picture is. Now we will talk about the margin. I have already talked about the margin, operating profit margin, which is good enough number, and net profit margin. The company has maintained 6 to 7% of margin over the last 6 to 7 years, which is quite good from the company's perspective. Now we will talk about the cash flow. Is it good or bad? Whether the company is using more operating activities money in investing and financing, or more financing activities money for fulfilling the operating and investing activities. Overall, over the last 10 years, we can clearly say that the company has generated 6,400 crore of operating activities money from operating activities, and out of that 3,000 goes to investing and approximately 3,500 goes to financing activities. Overall, we can say that the company is using its own money only in financing and investing activities. Now we will talk about the working capital of the company, which is almost negative for most of the years. Though it has increased in 17-18 and 19-20 around these years, but overall we can say that it is because of the current borrowing the company has to take for maintaining the current working capital, for maintaining the inventory and receivable of the company, and it is the reason for this negative working capital. Now we will talk about whether the profit generated by the company is converted into cash or not. We can see that the company's profit for the last 10 years is 2,100 crore, and out of which the company has generated 6,500 crore of cash. And why is such a high number? It is high because the depreciation is around 3,000 crore. If you subtract 3,000 from 6,400 crore, you can clearly say that 3,200 crore is the net cash generated after excluding depreciation. So we can clearly say that the PAT is converted, means the profit is converted into cash, which is good from the company's perspective. Yeah, company is generating cash. Now we will talk about the valuation. From my perspective, I will check the valuation for only one reason, to check whether the company is at a very high valuation or not. From the PE's perspective, the company's profit is around 300 crore. I assume it 300 from the last few years data. So calculating the PE multiple of 15, we can reach up to 4,500 crore of market cap for the company. If we give 20 multiple, then also we can reach up to 6,000 crore multiple, 6,000 crore market cap. But right now the company is trading at 23,000 crore market cap, approximately 4 to 5 times more market cap than its PE multiple. I'm not saying that the company's market cap is going to decrease or the company's price is going to decrease. I'm just saying that if the company is trading at such a high valuation, I won't consider buying from the PE's perspective. So I may purchase from the business perspective, but from the PE's perspective, I'm not going to buy. Talking about free cash flow, I have calculated it by CFO minus capex minus dividend. Dividend is around 700 crore, capex is around 2,800 crore. So I calculated it around 300 crore. From this, I can say that from free cash flows perspective, the company's valuation comes around same level, 5,000 to 6,000 level. The company is trading at a very high valuation. I'm not saying that the company's price is going to fall, or if it is going to trade at 5,000 or 6,000, I'm going to purchase. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the valuation need to be 4,000 to 6,000, between 4,000 to 6,000, but it is trading at a very high valuation, so I won't consider buying from these perspective. Though I may buy from business perspective, because if a business is good, it gets a premium from the purchaser. It depends upon the situation, it depends upon the business model, it depends upon your understanding. Overall, one thing that I need to mention here is that I have created a course in Hindi. If you do not know Hindi, then leave it. If you know Hindi, I have created a course. I will give the link in the description, and the course is pure about concept. Basically, it is about the road towards investing, what you need to know. If you do not know anything about the stock market, this is a 100 rupee course. You can do the course and understand how the market works, how you have to take the steps towards investing. I have covered about inflation, compounding, and different other topics so that you can understand more better and learn more effectively. And you do not have to roam around here and there to learn these things. You can also learn these things by purchasing few books. I am also going to give you the link of few books which you need to purchase before entering the stock market, because the psychology is important before entering the stock market. It is not a place where you can put money and increase it. The whole thing comes to psychology. Overall, if you do not understand the last word, leave it. I just suggest you to kindly register to the course and do the course, complete the course and learn something new. And thank you for being with me till the last section of the video. Thank you.